Hey guys, it's Tasha Lee, that's me, and we here with some story time. I never been a good dancer, but how y'all doing today? I'm in a good mood today. I hope y'all are too. I'm pretty new to this YouTube thing. I got a handful of subscribers and only like 2 videos that I know that you guys are not returning subscribers more than likely. Um, Hopefully we can get to know each other and grow together. Um, I appreciate it. Uh, please stick around for my content. You might like it. Give me a chance. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend to come on over. Come over. It's a room around this table to listen to my stories. Thank you, and I'll be back. Another one. Another one. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, so enough goofing around. Let me give y'all a quick overview on the story that I'll be doing today, and it'll be on Jelani Day. He was a 25-year-old graduate student at ISU, pursuing to become a doctor. He was well on his way to achieving his dreams, but unfortunately, on August the 24th, 2021, Jelani would not be seen alive again. It wouldn't be until over a week later that his body is found, face down in an Illinois river, tongue tied. He wouldn't be found until a week later in the Illinois river, face down, body totally unrecognizable. They don't know whether it's a boy, a girl, Caucasian or black. That's how bad the body was decomposed. And it's just been a lot. And the family want answers. Shit, the public want answers. We all want damn answers. So, in the words of Carmen Day, which is Jelani's mom, see it for yourself. And I'm asking you to hear it for yourself. So, come on, check this story out with me. Jelani Day was born to Cameron Day and Sevy Day Sr. in Dansville, Illinois. He was number 4 of 5 kids. He was born in a loving environment, a 2-parent home, a lot of structure. The mom and dad taught them to put God first and family second, and that's what they did. If Jelani knew that if he could not go to his parents or his siblings with a problem, that God would be there to help him along the way, he really believed that. When he wasn't spending time with his real family, he was out with his church family, engaging in activities and staying active. As a youngin', Jelani already knew that what he wanted to be and what he wanted to do. He was goal driven at a young age. He knew from his friend Paul, who had a speech impediment, that he wanted to become a doctor and help those that couldn't help themselves. Because of Paul's speech impediment, their peers and friends and stuff would tease him. And you got to remember, Jelani at this time was still a kid himself, but he would not indulge in that. He didn't think it was funny. So he said he stood up for Paul and was the voice that Paul didn't have. And he said when he grew up, he want to make a difference in somebody's life. And that's what he was on his way. Jelani would then go on to Dansville High, where he was very athletic. He was on a track team. He was a top sprinter. He was doing the damn thing. He was getting good grades. Yeah, he was that kid. He was that popular kid with all the spunk. He was a leader. They've been saying that he been a leader his whole life. He was also engaged in a lot of activities outside of sports. When he wasn't doing sports, he was into an organization called the Educational Talent Search. He done that. He was just that kid. He didn't have time to run the streets and fool around. He was all about education. Now, when he graduates Dansville, he goes on to college because he said, I can't stop here. I got a goal to make. I got to make it here. So he go to AAMU. And while he's at AAMU, he does well. He keeps a high grade point average, and he's also engaged in activities. He joined the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and if y'all know what that is, then you know what that is, okay? And he also was a part of 100 Black Men of Huntsville and Khalid Khalid 100. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I've been trying to pronounce it for 2 weeks now, and I can't. So, you know what that says about me, sight. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, maybe try to look it up. But I think that's it. Um, so he then do his 4 years there, and he graduates and get his um bachelor's in communicative science and disorders. And in 2018, he was out the door. Just a little while later, he would decide that he has to go back because he has to pursue his dream, and he goes to ISU to get his master's. And while he's there, they said that he took his classes very serious. When he went to do his clinicals, he was dressed down to the bone with suits on and all that, getting his good grades, being committed and dedicated. Unfortunately, on August the 24th, 2021, all that changes for Jelani. See, that day, Jelani had a scheduled appointment with his clinical professor. Now, his professor needed him to do something, so I guess they was just going to meet up to talk about it. But he never showed up for that appointment that morning. And she really didn't trip so much because he was supposed to be in her class at 1 o'clock that day. But when 1 o'clock rolled around, there still was no Jelani. And then the next day came and still no Jelani. So that's when the concern kicked in. And she immediately called campus police so they could do a wellness check, right? So the police go and look through the records, and it goes to the address on file, which was not Jelani's home, but it was his mom's home down in Dansville. So that's where they went. And when they get there, they meet Jelani's older brother. And the older brother said, I haven't seen Jelani or talked to him. So he called his mom, like, Mom, have you talked to Jelani? And she said, Yeah, why? And he said, Because, campus police is here looking for him. And she's like, Hold up, like, why? At that time, she isn't thinking anything like happened to him, but she thought like maybe something happened. You know what I mean? She know her son is a good kid, so like he never been in trouble. Like why are they looking for him? So the brother explained that he haven't been in class in 2 days, and the professor sent them here. So she just got a little concerned at that time. She wasn't real concerned. She got a little concerned though because she felt like she did talk to him, right? So the brother said he was just gonna go over there and check things out at Jelani's house. So he leaves, they hang up, and she immediately calls her son. And it goes straight to voicemail. And she didn't really worry too much at that time because Jelani was known for putting his phone on Do Not Disturb, but he would call right back. Now, when he didn't call back, she sent a text message saying, Call me ASAP. Now, she said her children knew when she sent that text out, that means, listen, I don't care what you doing. Stop whatever you're doing and call me out. And they would. But he didn't call. So she looked through her call log and she notices at that point that she, in fact, have not talked to her son. She haven't talked to him, and she became concerned. Like, hold up, where's my child? So she calls Danville police. I'm sorry. She called Bloomington police and asked them to meet the son at Jelani's address. So they could make a official missing persons report, right? So they gets to Jelani's house and they file the report. And at that time, the police kind of showed that they didn't feel any urgency and they really didn't care. They felt like Jelani was a 25-year-old and maybe he didn't want to talk to his mom. And by the way, these are all allegations. I was not there. I did not hear this. I'm getting this from off the records that's on file on social medias and on the news and all that stuff. So yeah. But apparently that's how they felt, and they like, he's 25 years old, maybe he don't want to talk to you. And she like, no, that wouldn't happen. My son calls me whenever. Okay, he calls me whenever because listen, now the last time that she had spoke to him. He had just called simply to say that he loved her and he wanted to hear her voice. And she said that that wasn't surprising to her when she heard him say that that night because he always done that. So for them to say that he just didn't want to talk to her, she wasn't feeling none of that. And then, they was like, well, maybe he just was some fast tail girl. He'll be back. They just didn't feel like it was nothing wrong. It wasn't no urgency. So while he was at Jelani house, the brother, he looked around and he decided to take some of Jelani things like his laptop and stuff. And the police didn't stop him from doing it. They actually watched him do it. They let him do it. And that's kind of weird because this is a missing persons case. Shouldn't you guys be the one taking the computer? That could be evidence. Like, why would you let someone tamper with the evidence, right? Hmm. But they let him take it or whatever. And then the next day come and Carmen already feels like the police don't care. So she gets on her mommy thing. She like what I need to do next. She gets on the phone and she finds out the professor's number and she talks to her and she like, what was up with that? Like, why did you feel a need to call the police? And the professor let her know what's going on and gave her a timeline of everything. The last time she talked to Jelani, the text messages, the calls, everything, right? And at that point, her and Carmen just kind of came to the conclusion that the professor would call and get the detective assigned to the case. And that's what she did. And in the meantime, Carmen was still on her stuff. She was still out there making her calls. She called Jelani's bank to see if that bank card was used because she felt like she had to do all the investigating part because they were not going to do it. So at that point, that's when she found out that Jelani card was in fact used on the morning that he disappeared around 7 o'clock at the on campus at the Starbucks. Now I want you guys to remember that. And then they got the computer, which is, I believe, was an Apple computer. And, he had an iPhone, of course, which the location was turned off, and that wasn't like him to do. And, she couldn't get in his iCloud or anything like that. She couldn't receive any information.
Into his phone, his location turned off. Apple wouldn't help us, so we created a protest against Apple, had everybody tagging them until we could get some help. The police were telling me that they had to get a subpoena against Apple, and it would take sometimes it takes 6 months for Apple to respond. Not with this one, it wasn't going to take 6 months. I found Apple's policy. I texted to the detective. I gave him a number. I had people calling, just bombarding Apple with phone numbers. One of my friends found out that he sat on a board with somebody from Apple, and he contacted them for me. By that night at midnight, Apple had at least responded with some kind of spreadsheet, according to Detective Jones, with some information. That wasn't because they did anything. That was all because of the groundwork and the legwork that me and my friends and strangers put in for my son. After the Apple stuff, we had to still look for things.
6 months. I can't wait 6 months. My son is missing. I need to find my son like yesterday. So you guys need to do something today, like right now. But they wasn't trying to hear what she had to say. So she went on and looked through their policy and she found something and she sent it over to the detective for them to put in the footwork to get done what they need to get done, And it worked. And they found out that Jelani's cell phone had pinged by a tower. At a tower by the Beyond and Hello, which is a marijuana dispensary in Bloomington, and that was around 9 something. So that was just 2 hours later after he was on campus. Now remember, I told you he had a scheduled appointment that morning, so I just don't understand how he was at the school, left the school, and went somewhere else 2 hours later. But that was the last time that any record, anything had his. That's the last time his phone pinged anything. Like, so after that, it was just like nothing. It was like he just vanished or whatever. So later on that day, She gets Carmen, Jelani's mom, gets a phone call later on that day around 4:30. And it's the detective and they want to know if Jelani has any connections in Peru. And she like, no. Like, we don't know nobody in Peru. And at the time, she didn't really think of it as nothing because she didn't really know about Peru. But, and I really didn't even until now. And I'm about to tell you guys, if you don't know about Peru, let me give you a little history on Peru, right? Peru is a small town in Illinois. It has a population of about 10,000 people. And out of those 10,000, it's about 93% white and 0.4% black. Now I want you to understand what I'm saying, right? When I say 0.4, that's not even 1%. That's not even a half of a percent. That's a little under a half percent black. So it's really no black people there, okay? And they have beliefs there, okay? It's called the Sundown Town. That's what it's nicknamed. And if you guys don't know what the Sundown Town means, it means no blacks after dark. So after that phone call, Carmen got another phone call around 8 o'clock from the detective again, stating that they think they found Jelani's Chrysler 300, white Chrysler 300, I'm sorry, in a wooded area in Peru. Now, come to find out, they was given this information at 4:20 the afternoon by a local. A local actually said that they seen someone drive that car up there and leave it, but they was unable to give a description. And the family still don't know who was that person, who was the local that told the police that information. So the family immediately packs up and they're on their way to Peru to check this car out, right? So when they get there, they said it was like hell finding it. Okay, so apparently, if you're not from there, it's not easy to access that road that takes you back in that wooded area. You have to be a local to get back there. Okay, and when they got there and seen that car didn't have any license plates. They were gone. The doors was locked. The keys was gone, and in the back seat there was some dress clothes. Right at this point, Carmen is just like, she needs help. She needs to do more. They need to find her son. She doesn't understand why her son car is 60 miles away from campus with no license plates. So the next day, she did the only thing that a mother could do in that situation is she cried out for help. She went on social media and she said, listen, I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I don't know how to conduct a search, but only thing I know is that I have to find my son. And if anybody could help me, it'd be greatly appreciated. And guess what? People showed up and they showed out. And for 2 days, they searched for Jelani in Bloomington and in Peru. But they didn't find anything. They didn't find anything. And then in the meantime, Carmen set up a GoFundMe page. And yeah, she said she needed to collect more money. She needed to be able to get up money to get a search done because the police wasn't trying to help her. So she needed the resources to go out and find her child, and she didn't have the proper resources like cadaver dogs and drones and stuff like that. So yeah, she put up the GoFundMe, and in the meantime, her and her son went around to the local businesses by where Jelani's cell phone last pinged to try to look at any like security footage that was around anything. They went to so many stores. Everybody turned them away until they got to the Family Dollar. Now, when they got to the Family Dollar was like, sure, you can look. They sat there for hours looking at security footage, and then boom, they saw Jelani's car exiting on the exit ramp, and it was his car. It was his car. And she went to the police and said, listen, that is an area of interest. Y'all need to check that area because that's the last place my son, this is the last place my son's phone pinged from. Like, you have to look in this area. And they told her, okay. But I'm going to tell you now, they didn't search that area. Okay. So, Carmen, remember I said she made a GoFundMe, right? So she gets the money up and she calls Illinois State Search and Rescue, and she asks them, can they conduct a search for her? Okay, they agree to do it, and they contact Peru, and she also puts out a $25,000 reward on any information of her son. Now they go out and they searching, and Carmen is still looking. She's still looking. She's still looking. They still looking. They ain't giving up. And on September the 4th, 2021, Carmen gets a phone call that they found the body face down in the Illinois River. Now, Carmen accepted it, but she didn't accept it because she didn't believe that was her son. But she wanted to hurry up and find out if it was. So she like whatever she had to do to get it done. Come on, let's do it. Come on, get this DNA. Like I can get his dental records. Now at the time, the coroner said that they really couldn't use the dental records because of the condition of the body. Now this is just a disclaimer. It's about to be a trigger warning. Um, this might not be appropriate for kids. It might create nightmares. Um, if you had someone, a loved one that died in a tragic way, this might be a trigger. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. So his body was badly decomposed. His eyes was gone. His upper and lower teeth were missing. His genital area was gone. He didn't have on any clothes, but he had a shirt wrapped around his waist. They couldn't tell if he was white or black because his skin was so pale. Like, it's sad. It's really sad. Give me a second. Okay, so after the body was found on September the 4th, mind you that I told you that coroner said that because of the condition of the body, that the dental records was going to basically be useless, and that they would have to do a special DNA testing, and they was basically going to take Jelani's tibula bone and take some DNA from the mother, the father, and one of the siblings to find out, right? So on the 6th, state police came and got the DNA.
They were not telling us that this was Jelani. This body was severely decomposed and was found face down in that river. That this body was missing its upper and lower teeth. That it was a possibility that this body would not be able to be identified by the dental because of the decomposition of the body. That is why we were instructed that we were going to have to do a DNA. And they told me that they would be taking a tibia bone from Jelani's body, and that they would need the DNA from myself, his father, and one of his siblings. That DNA was taken from us. We gave that DNA to the state police.
Guys, I want y'all to pay attention to this timeline for me, right? Now on September the 8th, right? This is after. Now remember, the coroner got the body on the 4th. They gave up the DNA on the 6th. Now Carmen didn't want to come off as the angry black woman, all rushy, So she tried to chill back a little bit. But after 2 days went past, she was like, no, not gonna happen. I'm calling. So she called. She called the coroner's office. She called his phone, actually. No answer. And she left a message. September the 10th, she called his phone, left a message. September the 12th, she called him, no answer. Okay? So in September, like around that time, around like the 12th, 13th or something like that, I'm not really sure the date, but Carmen's former lawyer had contacted her and let her know that the chemical needed for the DNA test was not available. The state lab did not have it, and it was on back order, and they would not know until September the 15th if they would have it in, right? September the 16th, she contacted the coroner again, but she got to speak to him, and she asked him, like, why haven't you called me back, why haven't you gotten in contact with me? And did you receive any of the messages that I've been leaving you? And he replied by saying, like, I'm sorry, I was having trouble with my phone. It was at Verizon and I haven't ordered the dental records. And she like, wait a minute, it's been 8 days. Like, you had my son body for 8 days. And you mean to tell me like y'all made no progress? So because your phone was acting up and it was at Verizon, you don't have a business phone? Now she didn't say that part. This is how I'm feeling. Like, you don't have a business phone, you don't have a computer where as though you can make things happen. Like, really? The audacity. Like, where's the compassion in this? So he basically said he didn't request the dental records. So after that, Carmen just was like fed up. She wasn't getting no help. She felt disrespected on so many levels from everybody. So she said, listen, I'm going to the media. And that's when she started reaching out to different medias. She just reaching out to everybody, trying to get Jelani's name out there, trying to get the case out there. So maybe someone somewhere that heard something, might have seen something, could say something. You know what I'm saying? And as this time is going on right here, she started noticing Gabby Petito on the news.
September 16th, there had not been any dental records requested for my son. Fast forward this, by this time, I had then been reaching out to media and anybody who would listen to me. At this time, during this time, I watched the news and I seen that Gabby Petito was missing. I seen that Gabby Petito's mother and her father had gotten the assistance of the Federal Bureau of Investigations to help find their daughter. They had Gabby Petito on every social media outlet, on every news channel, in every newspaper. But Jelani was missing, and you did not know about Jelani, and nobody was looking for Jelani. I didn't know if that body that they had was my son's. And for me, all I knew is that my son was still out there and we still needed to find him. I received a call.
That rocked her world. She broke down. She was crying because she like, listen, how can everybody care so much about this white girl when nobody cares about my black child? For Gabby, they had drones. They had about 1 million people outside searching for her. They had the cadaver dogs. They had dive teams. They had FBI. They had everybody. And nobody was looking for Jelani. And I try to visualize myself in her shoes. And I don't know if I would have been able to do it. I would have broke apart. I would have fell apart. I wouldn't have known what to do. Like, nobody cares about my child but me and his family, in our family. Like, that's how y'all gonna treat this? Like, he don't matter? So I definitely understood where she was coming from. And she also stated, like, she didn't try to make this situation about race. So anybody that's listening to this or have heard her and be like, oh, they always trying to make stuff about race. She said, no, it was absolutely not about race. But if you do not see the racial disparity in this situation, then you're blind. And not only are you blind, you're in denial. You're in denial big time. You would not know what African Americans go through until you become an African American. A lot of people look at us and say, oh, they always trying to make it about this and about that. But you don't really know because you never really stepped inside our shoes to see the difference. Because there is a difference in how we all are treated. And it's messed up, but it's just that way. September the 22nd, she got a call from Peru. And they was asking her if she would be able to come down and identify some clothing that they believe was Jelani's. Now, these pieces of clothes that they wanted her to identify was found about 1.5 miles away from where Jelani's body was found. Okay. Now, it was said that two white girls from ISU found the clothing, and they said the reason they found it was because they were bored and they decided they wanted to help. They wanted to do something. So That was that. So they came down there and identified the clothes, and in fact, the clothes was Jelani's clothes. So, Carmen wanted to, say thank you for trying to help out, but guess what? She couldn't say thank you because they already had lawyers. Like, why do you have a lawyer if you're innocent? If innocent people don't get lawyers. I take that back. In certain cases, innocent people don't get lawyers. In their case, you're innocent. You don't have anything to do with the case. You just found some clothes. Why do you need a lawyer? It's not like, you were accused by the police of something and you needed a lawyer to defend the fact that you're innocent. But I'm pretty sure when she went into the police station, the sheriff and them, they looked at those young ladies and knew that they didn't do anything wrong. So why do you need lawyers? Everything is so suspect, isn't it? This time, Carmen just had a lot of questions. She like, listen, if those clothes was found a mile and a half away from where my son was found, then why did those clothes wasn't found, what, 20 days ago, almost 20 days ago? You should have found that on the same day. Why was it not found on the same day? Was those clothes not there? Did you not search that area? Like, what's going on? Like, how did you not find it? And guess what? They didn't give her answer. They didn't say anything. You know, like, are you serious? Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. If that was me and I asked that question, I meant what I asked you. Like, I would have treated them men or women or whoever just like they were my children. You will not stand here in my face and not answer what I just asked you. Don't sit here and look at me all dumb. Give me an answer, and I want to answer like right now. So think of something, but you better say something. Don't just stand there and look at me, right? That's bizarre, isn't it? So about an hour later, the coroner calls Carmen back and he asked her if he went to a dentist in Alabama, and she was like, I'm not sure. And he said, you should know. It's your insurance. It's on your insurance. And she said, well, she basically like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. So it's like, who do you think you are? Like, who are you talking to? Like, I should know. Don't tell me what I should know. Don't tell me what I should know. Apparently, I haven't looked on my insurance if I'm telling you that I don't know. I've been pressing you guys all this time about making some progress. So, do you think I would play games and tell you I don't know if I really knew? Like, who do you think you are? So then after that little thing, he basically said, "Look, we're gonna get a team together and we're gonna work all through the night to figure out if this is Jelani." So at this time, Carmen is confused. She's like, "Why are you looking at dental records when you already clearly told me that because of the condition of the body that the dental records would be useless?" And you also said that because of that, you have to use the DNA, which I didn't have the chemical for. Like, excuse me? She just confused. So she says this to him. She says this to him because she wants to really know, like, didn't you say that the dental records was useless? And guess what he said, y'all? He said, you either want to know if this your child or you don't. And at that time, she had her lawyer and the private investigator on the phone, and he didn't know that. So her lawyer, which was a white woman, said, "Who the you think you talking to? This lady just lost her child. Who the you think you talking to?" And at that time, he was still yelling. I'm sorry, y'all. At that time, he's still yelling. He hasn't even realized that he isn't talking to Carmen anymore on the phone, and he just going off. Eventually he did, calm down and he apologized or whatever. But it's like a little too late for all that. Like, who do you really think you're talking to? Like, I did just lose my child, so why do you think it's okay to talk to me like that? On September the 24th, Carmen would get a call saying that The body has been identified through dental and DNA of as being Jelani Day. And this really took Carmen back, right? Because it took me back. Because if you've been paying attention to what's been going on, it's what's been being said. Now, I gave y'all the timeline, right? Then they've been saying that they have not had this chemical that they needed, right? But this chemical, when it did come, it takes a month to a month and a half for the results to get back. The dental record was useless because of the 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 body's decomposition, right? So how within just 24 hours of talking to you guys last, do you tell me that y'all know that this is my son? That's how she felt. And to be honest with you, it was like real sketchy to me. I don't know if they really fully accepted that that's Jelani, because in the back of my mind, I probably will always think like, we don't really know, because I don't believe them, because they have given me so much misinformation. What she said, everything seems like a cover up, and it does. Let me also tell you guys this, right? Also, the wallet was also found in September, and that was found in someone's yard in Peru. Um, and that was also found by a local. Like I said, everything that's been found have not been on the behalf of the police, but other people has been coming up with all these leads and information. Okay, so we get past that. We get past the DNA of it being Jelani, and on October the 26th, it was confirmed on the autopsy that Jelani died from drowning, and there was no evidence of a homicide. Okay, so Carmen was just like angry about that. Like, Jelani was on the swim team. He was an avid swimmer. He been swimming since he was a boy. He was a very good swimmer. He was athletic. He was about 200 pounds. He was about 6 feet tall. Like, it is no way that he drowned on his own. It is no way that he walked 3 miles, because his car was 3 miles from his body. And there's no way that he walked 3 miles down to the bank, took his clothing off, and got in the water and drowned. Because someone's natural reaction, if they're starting to drown, especially if they know how to swim, is to float or tread water or something, right? There's no way that that happened. And Carmen said whatever she believes that somebody, people, not one person, but it had to be more than one person, maybe more than two.
And I know Jelani ain't just let nobody take him. He didn't just let nobody put him somewhere. Jelani had to know this person, because nothing in his car was undisturbed. He trusted you enough to something. He was familiar with whoever did this, the people that did this. And it had to be more than one person, because Jelani would fight. Jelani could fight. Jelani been known to fight. He didn't want people to know of him like that, but he could defend himself. And it took more than one person. It took more than two people to do whatever they did to Jelani. Or they had to have a weapon. And I just want answers now. I want answers. Because my son didn't just disappear in thin air.
Jelani didn't want people to notice about him, but Jelani was a fighter, and he could fight, and he could defend himself. And like I just said, he was 200 pounds. He was 6 feet tall. Like, he just would not have let nobody just go and take him to and take his clothes off of him and stuff like that. Like, something has to give. But I'm gonna tell you, right? The body was in the water and it was so badly decomposed, right? The organs was gone, and also I didn't let me get this right here. Jelani's cause of, passing was drowning, right? But Carmen felt like, how can you possibly really say that? Only reason why you guys are saying that is because he was found in water and he's deceased. But his lungs didn't indicate that because you guys stated that his major organs were liquefied. His lungs, his spleen, his kidneys. They said his spleen was mush. The kidneys and liver and lungs were liquefied, right? And because of that, and because they were liquefied, that when Carmen went and got her second autopsy done and they opened Jelani up to do it, his organs was gone. All of his organs was gone. And the reason his organs was gone because it was liquefied and they threw it in the trash. Now that's not proper protocol. Now you are supposed to put the organs back in a bag and put the bag inside of the body and leave it. So only person that knows that it was liquefied is LaSalle Corners. No one else seen the proof of that. So how do we know that's really true? Like, how do we know if it was really liquefied? What if it is a cover up? Because that's what everything seemed like it's pointing to. Like they drug their feet, moved slow, didn't look hard enough. Maybe somebody that knows somebody of power. You know what I'm saying? Like, this case is messy, it's ridiculous, and it's heartbreaking. Carmen is such a strong woman. I swear. I watch her talk all the time and I praise her. I pray that if I ever get in a situation like that I can stand tall and strong and affirm like that. You know what I'm saying? And not let nobody trick me into thinking something else because she ain't letting nobody create a narrative of her son. They said maybe he done this to himself. Maybe because, his studies was too complicated. Maybe because his father was sick. And FYI, his father do have cancer, but Jelani was the one that was supposed to give him bone marrow. So why would he do this to himself when he had an opportunity to help and save his father? That's far from the truth. I don't believe he would do that just for that reason alone. Just for that reason alone. She will not let them create a narrative that he had anything going on wrong with him dealing with mental health to paint that picture like he did this to himself because no, he wouldn't do it. And I believe her. I don't believe that she would have a reason to lie because, just listening to what I'm listening to, it sounds like the police and everyone else is lying. Do you guys agree? It's crazy and it's unfair that that woman has to live like that. It's crazy that she done everything possible to work on her son's case and no one helped her. Really, not but so much. That's not fair. On the 25th, a multi jurisdictional unit was formed. Okay, now the multi jurisdictional unit was consistent of Bloomington Police, Peru Police, FBI, the Chicago Division, LaSalle Police, the Illinois State Police, and the Illinois Attorney. Now, this is just a mess. So, this is what they formed. All of these different jurisdictions came together as one to try to find out any evidence or anything leading to the mysterious of Jelani Day. I'm trying not to say the words because I don't want my video to be taken down because I work really, really, really hard on this. So, you guys know what I'm trying to say. October 17th, 2021, Jelani's phone was found. His phone was found by a guy riding down the highway, and he said that his mattress fell off of the truck. Now, when he got off to get this mattress up, he looks down and he sees a iPhone, and he picks it up. And he says, all busted up, it wouldn't come on. So he took it to a nearby kiosk at Walmart. He received $80 for that. Now, Carmen had no idea about this. She had no idea. On 11/11/2021, Carmen finds out via social media that the police had her child's phone, because the guy that actually owned the company made a post on social media. So that's how she found out. No one ever called her like they said they would, keep her updated on any incoming information or anything like that. No one contacted her and let her know. She found it on social media, and that was that. On December the 1st, Ben Crump became the family's attorney, because remember, she had the other lady at first. Now I guess she let this lady go, I'm not sure why, but now Ben Crump, as of December the 1st, became the family's attorney. Also on December 1st, the multi-jurisdictional unit made a press release, and they said that, well, LaSalle said that they would be making a press release. They will be releasing more information on Friday, December the 10th. So LaSalle said that on December the 10th, which was a Friday, that they will be, making a press release, basically giving us more information and more developments on what's going on, okay? On the 10th of December, per the multi-jurisdictional unit, no developments to be released. This is what they said. No developments to be released. And per Peru police, they basically came out and said, yeah, I know we told you we would have information, but guess what? We don't. Now, on December the 13th, the multi-jurisdictional unit now has a new name, and they changed their name to the Jelani Day Task Force. And for many reasons, Carmen wasn't pleased with it. She didn't care that they did that. She felt as though, that's something that they should have been did, and I agree. And, she really just was like, she was over it at this point. She just felt like she don't want Peru involved. She don't want LaSalle involved. Only people she want involved is the FBI. And the FBI acting like, they can't fully take over the case for whatever reason. But FBI stated their own self that this was a nationwide thing. And if it was a nationwide thing, then that means that it crossed state lines. So then that's when it becomes your job. So why can't you take this thing on, She wasn't happy. And they also, the FBI also said they was offering a reward of $10,000. On December the 19th, 2021, is the day that they finally laid Jelani Day to rest. A very upsetting day, of course, you all know. The family took it pretty hard, but, that day was finally here, and they finally got through it. It was supposed to have been on the 11th of December, but being as though, they still had the autopsy and all that type of stuff still going on. The investigation, basically. They still had the investigation kind of open and going on. And, of course, it was a closed casket, It was a closed casket, and couldn't no one see because of how bad the condition of the body was. At least they finally got to lay their loved one to rest. Which, at that time, I read that I don't believe Carmen was too convinced that that was her son that she was laying to rest. It's just a lot of things going on. And she like, do I even know? From the information that we have been talking about so far, like, would you not feel the same way? On January the 17th, Beyond and Hello, which is the marijuana dispensary that Jelani was at, they refused all calls from the family.
Um, they just was over it. They deleted their Bloomington page because Carmen had everybody protesting and calling, because Carmen asked for the video, the full unedited version of her son entering and leaving that store. They have yet to give it to her. They claimed that they had gave it to the police, which is probably true. But it's awfully funny that around December the 18th, I believe it was, the Panagraph, I believe. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that newspaper, they had released footage, just a short clip of Jelani, coming in the store and leaving the store. Now this upset Carmen and them because they figured, like, the disrespect, the levels of disrespect. You gave these people footage of my child, and the footage I'm asking for of my child you can't give to me. So at this point, it's like, okay, I feel like you only gave it to this news broadcaster was because you was trying to clear your name. It wasn't about closure for the family. It was about clearing your name up to make it seem like nothing foul happened in our store. He came in and he left. But the family asked for the same footage. But they want the full footage. They want to see. And these people have not been answering their phones or nothing. They won't accept the call. And, their reason is because of COVID, they have limited staff. And Carmen is feeling at this point like, why do you not want to give it to me? Are you hiding something? Is it something there that is hidden? Is it something you don't want me to find out about? Because if it's not, then what is the big deal about giving me the tape of my son? That's my child. This may not be the police officers, but what harm can I do with seeing a video of my child if you guys are not hiding nothing? And I agree with that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Beyond and Hello, they made a statement on Facebook lying, saying that they reached out to the I'm sorry, my dogs is over there doing stuff, saying that they reached out to the family and they gave they released the footage to the family, and the family said that's far from the truth. That's not true at all. They haven't received anything, and they want everyone to call up and put pressure on them. Basically, just put the pressure on them. And I'm gonna try to put the links below, so if anyone decided that they did want to be more active in a Jelani Day case, that you would be able to, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's like, at this point, it's like, it's too much. It's too much, So, January 17th, Carmen receives the Profile of Courage Award. Isn't that awesome? And she deserved it, man. She been so courageous. She has really been the voice for her child, which she promised she would be. I mean, she done anything that any mother would do, but she has been going above and beyond. And she has been doing a whole bunch of conferences with City Hall. She been doing everything she can, She been speaking out about those that have wronged her and her family, and she isn't scared of any backlash or repercussions, as she shouldn't be when it comes to her child. A mother's love, a mother's love. So yes, on January 17th, Carmen, she received the Profile of Courage Award. So let's give her a little love on that. Yes. Congratulations, Carmen. If you ever see this video, I love you. I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome. You're a great mom, and anybody would be lucky to have you as a mother. Also, February the 9th, the state Senator Sims advances measures to streamline local police investigations. Now, to address the underreported and unsolved missing person cases, particularly in those people of color. And I'm feeling that. The bill that's going to be in place is called the Missing Persons ID Act. Required medical examiners and coroners should be contacting the FBI if a body remains unidentified after 72 hours. Yes, and this has all been put in place because of what happened with Jelani Day. And I think this is so dope. This is so dope, I swear. Out of all the people in high positions with the state, it seemed like this senator is the only one that's trying to take a real stand and do something to help. So Carmen was really grateful for that. This has not been an easy road for her or her family, but each day she presses on. Of course, you know, she always talk about her baby and how much she missed him, and one day she will get justice. And I believe she will get that justice that she's seeking. Like I said, I'm going to try to put links below so you guys could try to like go out and venture for yourself to see a little bit more than I haven't really mentioned everything, but I've tried to put in enough for you guys to understand what's going on up to today. So yes, and the thing that I just the Missing Persons ID Act, that is really current because Carmen just posted about it like 22 hours ago when I looked, I believe, and I did that today. So yeah, like, so this is really dope. Anybody that has a loved one out there that, you know, has been in a cruel act, or anybody that has a loved one that has been missing, I mean, it's so good to advocate and get your, you know, get it out there. It don't matter how you do it, just do it. Just jump on social media. Technology is so good now. We can do so much. We can get so far, you know, just to let everybody hear what's going on. And I mean, you never know what could happen. Some change will come. But I would like it if everybody can support Carmen and her family with Jelani Day. I'm going to try to myself. It's going to be a number in a number for y'all to call in the description box. So once again, I love y'all. Thank y'all for sitting here and listening to me go on and on and on. But I felt so compelled to do this case. This case really bothered me, because even though I know things like this go on, it's just like, I don't know if I'm like in denial about it, but it's just like, I didn't think that we were so, like, I knew things were unfair for us. I don't know how to explain it. I knew things was unfair for us, but I didn't think that it was like this deep. That like people just really don't care, and everything really seems like a cover up. And that's the part that really gets me. Everything seems like a cover up. So hopefully they get the justice that they deserve. And hopefully you'll be back to see more of my videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, please comment below. I don't have a problem with, you know, answering any questions. If it's a case that you guys would like me to cover, please put it below and I will consider it. I just want to connect with you guys, get to know you guys, and I want you guys to get to know me. As always, be safe out here. I love you guys. And if you have not yet, please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend to come on past and look at this video and check it out and give me some love. I love you guys. Until next time, peace.